Wayne, I've had a revolutionary idea.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Yeah, I think all prisons should be made out of plants.
Alright, so what's your logic, sorry?
Like first, save the planet, you know, plants, loads of plants.
Yeah, prisoners do breathe,
They do that. And also, cell walls. It's like a match made in heaven. Plants have cell walls, prisons need cell walls. Oh, it's great, it's good. Yeah.
So, plants.
Yeah. So Wayne doesn't look much like a tulip, do you, Wayne?
And you don't look much like a rose.
Mostly because I'm not as pretty as a rose.
And I'm not quite as pretty as a tulip.
Yeah, it's also because of the different cells in them, because they're eukaryotes as well.
They are. But they have some extras that normal animal cells don't have.
And these are what they are.
So to start with, cell walls, they have those.
They do, and this is the structure all together. They're quite rigid and they hold it up basically.
So plants aren't flopping along the ground, not doing anything, they're quite rigid, they're quite upright.
Yeah, and that's because of the cell walls. What else do we have, Wayne? Middle lamella.
Thank you. All I could think of was middle.
Yeah. They are in the middle, so their cells are next to each other, as they're all connected.
This is a cell wall of one.
And a cell wall of another, and these stick together by the middle lamella basically. That's the bit in the middle, as suggested by middle lamella.
Yep.
It's like glue.
It's just like that, it's an adhesive,
yeah.
You can think of it. Middle.
And it holds them all together.
And that's lovely. Spellings don't get much easier from here. The next one's Plasmodesmata.
This one sounds a bit like a Jedi. And again, it's something between the two cells, but it's a gap where stuff travels in between.
Absolutely it is. So I'll try and draw a little sketch here. So these two are joined together with the middle lamella. This then happens again to make a chain sort of thing. Drawing it up. So this is another middle lamella, and there's a gap sort of in between here where substances can cross and they can also communicate with each other. So this lot is cell A. You can say, "Hi cell B, how you doing?"
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
I'm alright, I'm a cell though, so I don't really talk much. Don't know what communication means.
No, but they communicate anyway.
And that's lovely.
That's lovely. We've got another thing for transport, and it's a bit easy to spell. That's pits. This one isn't actually a gap between them, it's just like a really thin bit.
So we sort of zoom out a little bit, I suppose, and it looks a bit like this. These are little pits, but they're adjacent to opposite sides, so they also have a pit.
So these are quite thin, and they always come in pairs, and again for transport, but this one, they can't shout between these ones, so there's no communication here.
Yeah, it's just substance transport. This dotted line, by the way, isn't it cutting? They're not separated. I'm just saying this part is the pit.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Then you've got a myeloplast.
Yeah, and this is a storage molecule, so like a ball thing with bits of starch in them for the energy for the plant.
Absolutely, just like that. Don't think you have to draw them, but they look quite funny. They sort of look like little shapes like this.
Yeah.
They've got like chambers in them with
Yeah.
starch.
Yeah, remember starch is energy for plants. What else do we have, Wayne?
Well, you've drawn it lovely in the corner, but I think I'm going to need more room.
I think you might.
So it's a chloroplast. You've probably heard of them, I should hope.
And this is the site where photosynthesis takes place.
And we do that a lot more in A2 biology.
We do, but like a mitochondria, it's a bit more complicated, so we kind of zoom into it.
Yep, so it's like a big, weird banana peanut shape.
Yeah, it's quite like that. It has a double membrane.
It does, so that's on the outside here. I'm not going to draw it again, but this is double.
Yeah. Got a double membrane. Now inside it's got weird funky things, isn't it?
It does. How would you describe it?
Well, I think about it like loads of weird or awkwardly shaped bookshelves with books on them.
Yeah, so what's the shelf part called?
The shelf part is the lamella.
Indeed, lamella.
And the
And there's like books.
yeah, the books are grana or granum for one of them.
So it's stacked up here as well.
Yeah.
So it connects the stacks together.
Yeah. And the lamella are basically our thin thylakoid membrane, which might be something you need to know.
Yep. And this would happen lots of times. There'd be lots of bookshelves connecting these stacks of books. That's true. Quite nicely put. It's a nice way of thinking about it, I think. Bang, 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 bang. You've also labelled the stroma up there. What's that?
That is kind of like the cytoplasm for a
Just a
chloroplast.
general area.
Yeah, like the cristae is for the
for the
mitochondria. Yeah.
And then there's the thylakoid membrane.
Yeah, and that's the thing that lamella's made of.
Absolutely.
And it's also quite thin and flat.
And you look at the thylakoid membrane a little bit more in A2 because we use it for photosynthesis, so respiration of the plants. Yes.
Not the reverse, but yes. And then we have there is more things.
That's the vacuole.
There we are. Yeah. And this is something you should know from GCSE. So you've got this big area in the part in the middle which has loads of cell sap in it.
Yep, so we've got like this. I'm going to draw it like this. So
Yep.
this inside is the vacuole. Vacuole. You've probably heard of that. And outside it is a tonoplast. They love ending words with plast.
They do, and that's kind of the cell membrane for the vacuole controls what comes in and out.
Absolutely. And that is it. That's all the stuff that plants have that animal cells don't have. Remember, they have everything animal cells have as well
Yeah.
as these extras.
So they are quite complicated, really, aren't they?
They are. There's a little bit more.
There is a little bit more.
This is sort of the structures, but then there's
We're going to zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the stems.
Yeah. So
I
you
think
know
they-
they've got cell walls, and that makes them rigid. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not just that.
Do you both eat broccoli?
So in this point of the video, Jill came in and said, would you like some broccoli?
Us clever crackers love our 5 a day, so we said yes, but not in so many words.
Yeah, I mean, it did take quite a long time, actually.
But then after this, there was broccoli, so that's good. Sorry for the interruption, we'll get back to our video right away. Broccoli is also a plant.
It is a plant, and it has
Has xylem vessels.
it has
in
xylem
You've probably heard
vessels.
of that.
Yeah. So if we take a cross section of a stem.
Yep, I'll let you draw that while I write xylem.
Oh, okay. So
It's not spelt how you'd think it's spelt.
no.
Xylem.
Xylem.
And they're made up of dead plant cells. These xylem vessels all the way up.
Mhm.
But they have a massive gap in between for transporting ions and water.
Yes.
And Triv's drawn it up here. This whole thing is not the xylem.
No.
It's the inside parts that is the xylem. I'll label that while he's drawing dots,
Yeah,
which will
thank
come
you.
important in a minute. So, okay.
And the
Those
xylem
are
are
the
made out of
xylems.
lignin, which, as Wayne said, are bits of plant stem that have been left to die, so it goes really hard. There is small gaps in it, that's where our pits come in and stuff.
Yep, so if they sort of look cylinder shaped
Yeah.
overall, so I'm trying to draw a cylinder, I'm not a very
That
good
is,
drawer.
oh, I think it's a lovely cylinder.
But it has pits in it,
Yeah.
and this is where the water and the ions can leave from
Mhm.
inside this tube.
And it shoots right out, all the way to the leaves, and through transpiration, as you should know, pops it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this entire bit here, that's got a name as well, hasn't it, Wayne?
It is, we call it the vascular bundle,
Mm-hmm.
because they love tripping you up with spellings.
Yeah.
Vascular bundle, that's the whole thing here. The outside here, we'll get onto it a bit later, is phloem.
Yeah.
We'll probably get onto it later. Phloem.
Yeah,
that's
and the entire
outside.
thing is a cross section, which is what we said.
Absolutely. What about these dots on the outside then? Because they're not there by accident.
They are not their accident, they have a very special purpose.
They do indeed. These are for support as well.
Mm-hmm.
These are sclerenchyma fibres.
Yeah, these are very strong. You might have done a sort of test in one of your core practicals where you test how strong these fibres actually are.
Yes. And what you'd have done for that is taken some sort of fibre, probably a
Yeah.
flax
That's
fibre.
what we did, and then you strip it and then put weights on it.
Yeah, and so you can see the tensile strength is what you're trying to do there. And they are really strong,
They are
considering
well
how
tough.
lovely thin they are.
Mm-hmm.
And they are for support, and they stretch all the way down, because this is a cross section, so it comes
Yeah,
out
all the way down
towards
to the
you,
bottom of the plant. Yeah,
and it makes it really strong.
really strong indeed.
So eating broccoli will help, because then you'll have loads of these, and you'll be well strong.
Yeah.
Something like that. Wasn't
Something
really
like
listening.
No, but
So we're going to have broccoli by the sounds of it.
I
in a
think
minute.
we are.
So
I
that
like
sounds good.
broccoli. Hopefully not just broccoli though.
Oh no, I hate vegetables.